great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode 1033 of the Immigration Answer Show, and my name, again, is Jim Hacking, and today is Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. Hello, everybody. Sorry I was not here yesterday. My Aunt Alice, my godmother, my beloved aunt, took a turn for the worse over the weekend, so we were at the hospital on Sunday. I got to the hospital very early Monday. I was there. I didn't want her to be alone, so I was there sort of early morning up until about 1, and then she passed away around 5 o'clock yesterday. So my great aunt Alice, she, as my mom described her, she said that was my oldest friend. So my Aunt Alice, my mom's oldest friend, passed away at the age of 79 yesterday. She was a tough old bird, very, very fun. I think I told my mom I was going to figure it out. I think Alice lived with my mom total more than my mom lived with my dad, if that makes sense. My parents were married 50 years, but they lived together from when they were till my mom was married. So she was 23 when she got married. So that's 23 years. Then Alice lived with us in the 70s when I was a kid for like 4 years. So that's 27 years. And then Alice moved back to, I guess they were in the same city more than my mom and dad were married, but they weren't living, but Alice lived with my mom and dad for, I don't know, 15 years. So yeah, a life well lived. That lived, Tommy boy. That's right. So say a little prayer for old Aunt Alice. We'll do a memorial for her. She donated her body to the medical school. So the medical school will, I guess they sort of work on the bodies for a while, and then at the end they cremate them all together. So we'll do a memorial in the fall. And my mom, I'm sure my mom's going to be sad. So my mom is one of 6. She's number 2. So her older brother, Ren, and her younger daughter, Alice. So 1 in 3 have passed away. So, pretty crazy stuff. So sorry I wasn't able to be here yesterday. I could have done a show. I got home around 5, and then when I got the call, so then I was, no way. So in any event, I will be here today and for the rest of the week. I should be around all weekend. I'm in town this week and next week, and then I'm going to be in Europe for a week. So we'll be doing shows. We'll have to figure out shows. I'll be going to Austria and London and maybe to Holland. So that'll be fun. All right. My good friend Huli Halleck is here. She's down in the comments, and she has a very important message. Do I read my message now, Huli? Is now a good time? Okay, hold on a second. Let me read it. Hold on. Oh, by the way, on Friday, since you guys had so much fun when Jose visited last week, we're going to start having more people from the firm on the show. So next Friday, or this coming Friday, and our show will be probably around 2:30 or 3. That'll be Pod A attorney Yasmin Yunus will be with us to talk about her role here as our DC lawyer. Yasmin's awesome, and I think you guys will get a kick out of her. She's also very smooth on camera, and so I think that you'll enjoy having her here. All right, and then, okay, I see that, Huli, thank you. So Huli's important message. We invite you to join our WhatsApp channel, where we'll also be sharing important news, updates about the show, and more. Our amazing Julia, she called herself amazing there. Our amazing Julia, although she did say it was optional, our amazing Julia will drop the link right here. So Juli, please drop the link. There it is. So if you're on WhatsApp, I know a lot of immigrants like to use WhatsApp. It's funny, I only use WhatsApp when I'm outside the United States. And then when I look at it in the United States, I got all these messages. So sorry about that if I didn't respond. Tommy Boy. Oh, Tommy Boy, that would be great. Don't forget, we have our friend, I think his name is Ahmed, who wants to have me over for the best halal chili Philly cheesesteak sandwich in Philly. So I do have some reasons to go to Philly. So maybe I'll get to see Tommy Boy. That would be fun. All right. Anything else, Juli? I think we're good to start. Let's do it. Let's go to Baykeep 123. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity. I just have a quick question. I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen. My wife and I got married in New York City on March 2nd. Prior to that, we had our religious ceremony on January 23rd back in Bangladesh. Currently, my wife lives in Kansas with a F1 visa status, pursuing her PhD. She has been living in Kansas since 2022 while pursuing a degree and maintaining her F1 visa status. She traveled to Bangladesh on December 2025 to attend the marriage related religious ceremony that occurred on January 23rd. She re entered the US on January 27th of this year to continue her education in Kansas. She will graduate at the end of April of this year, and she applied for the OPT, optional practical training, uh, last week. She also plans to move to New York City, where I live, on May 7th to live with me and to apply for the marriage based green card right away when she gets here. My question is, does she need to reside in New York State for 90 days to show that we live together and to be able to apply for the marriage based green card, or can she apply for it right away when she moves here?
Wrong question. You guys made a big mistake for no reason. Do you know what your big mistake was?
No.
Tell me the day she entered the United States after you got religiously married.
January 27th.
And you got married on March 2nd.
Yes.
So you got married basically 5 weeks after entering the United States.
Yeah.
Do you know whether an F1 visa is an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa?
Non immigrant visa.
Do you know what happens when someone enters the United States with the intent to get married on a non-immigrant visa?
No.
They get hit with a misrepresentation charge. You guys made a huge mistake. Why would you do this without talking to an attorney beforehand?
I see.
Well, I don't know that you see. I don't know that you see because this is going to make your case a whole lot more complicated and a whole lot harder. So, what happened when she came through customs? Did you and she come on the same flight back from Bangladesh?
No.
You came on separate flights.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Uh, I stayed longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when she came through customs, did the CBP officer ask her what she was doing or what she did back in Bangladesh while she was home?
No.
What? So the officer just said, "Come on in." They didn't say anything to her.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is going to be your explanation as to why she would enter the United States on a student visa after and then getting married 5 weeks later?
Uh, we didn't think about it actually that way.
Right. But that's how they're going to look at it. So I guess so two questions. One is, before you left the United States to go back to Bangladesh, had you taken any steps to get legally married inside the United States on March 2nd?
Yes.
What steps had you taken before you went to Bangladesh to get married in the United States on March 2nd?
Well, not before we went to Bangladesh. It's after.
That's what I want to, but I'm trying to save you here. So you're telling me that there's nothing, you didn't do anything like get a marriage license or anything else before you went to Bangladesh.
No.
So that's good, right?
Yeah.
Number two, did you know about the 60-day rule?
No.
So that's good too. And then I guess the last question would be, when she flew back on that plane from Bangladesh, did she know that she was going to get married to you on March 2nd?
No.
How did that come about?
We planned for it to get married, but we didn't know when we would get married.
So you were married religiously in Bangladesh. You knew that conceptually you would get married in the United States at some point and start the immigration process, right?
Yeah.
So then that's what I'm trying to get to. So why did you decide to go ahead and get married on March 2nd? Or March 2nd.
To have the legal things sorted out.
Yeah, but why that day? Like, how did it come about? Who said, let's go down and get married on this Friday, on this day, March 2nd? Why? How did that conversation happen? And when did it happen?
That happened after we got back to the U.S. and we just decided like let's pick a date to get married in New York City.
So it's a really close call. I think that they might hit you with a misrepresentation, hit her with a misrepresentation. And if that happens, then your case gets a whole lot harder and a whole lot more expensive. Now, there's lots of factors in your favor. One is she's not on a visit visa, she's on a student visa. Number two is she's graduating. She really fulfilled the terms of her student visa. Number three, she's been on that F1 visa for a really long time. And
Mm-hmm.
lastly, I hate to say it, only a fool would leave the United States, go back to Bangladesh, get married religiously, then come back and hurry and get married. Um, like if you guys were evil planners, it wasn't a very good plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that issue of the 90 days and whether she comes live in the United States, that's not the most important issue in your case. What's your case is now all about this. So you need an attorney's help to frame everything properly to give you the best chance of getting her a green card without having a misrepresentation. If they say she made a misrepresentation, then they would approve the I-130, and then you'd have to apply for a waiver. You'd have to show that there's some hardship to you, the U.S. citizen,
Mm-hmm.
for if she were to be sent back home and not allowed to get a green card.
I see. Oh
So
wow.
that's a lot
Okay.
more work. You have to show like you have cancer or there's some reason why you can't go back to Bangladesh with her. Now, I have one other question. How did you become a green card holder and then a U.S. citizen?
I was granted asylum through my father.
Okay, good. So it wasn't through marriage.
No,
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me?
no. Yeah.
Good luck, my friend. If you need our help, let me know.
Thank you.
So that's our first. What's that thing called in soccer? Not unforced goal, own goal. Own goal number one. Talk to an attorney before you leave the United States. Talk to an attorney before you get married. Uh, LNP9W is asking what we charge for a 45. Usually it's around $5,500. All right. Let's go to American spouse to a Venezuelan. Hello.
Hi, I want to give you my condolences firstly.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, I guess I'll
Go for it, sister.
go. Okay. Yeah, my husband and I, he was on TPS here and we had no worries. And obviously that was canceled. And so we had our marriage-based interview October 14th, 2025, and she approved us on the spot. And she told us, a couple weeks, no longer than a month, we should see a change in our portal and or the green card in the mail. Obviously, it's been 6, 7 months and nothing, no changes in our portal. Our portal still says interview has been scheduled. And I have filled out a financial hardship. I have talked to a tier 2 officer multiple times. They filed something. I'm drawing a blank on that name right now, and just silence. My husband can't work. Like, we have kids, and it's just very, very difficult situation for us. So I guess I'm looking for any guidance or anything we can do because it feels pretty hopeless.
There are multiple lawsuits on file right now in federal courts across the country challenging the policy. As things stand right now, USCIS says that they can't or won't approve your husband's case. They don't like the way Venezuelans were allowed into the United States. They don't like the way Venezuelans were given TPS. So all you're doing is waiting. We're going to do probably another lawsuit here in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to be on the list and be included in that lawsuit, you can let Huli know, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's kind of what I've heard too, is basically we just have to wait, and there's nothing we can really do about, because his work authorization is expired, his license is expired, and so there's nothing pretty much we can do, right?
I don't think so. Not until the litigation works itself out.
Okay. I know this is kind of a probably above you question, but do you have any like guess at all when things will start flowing for Venezuelans?
Only if courts make them. They're
Okay,
not going to do it voluntarily.
right. Yeah, it's a tough situation. It really is.
I'm very sorry.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll talk with you said Huli about that.
Yep, she'll grab you in just a second. Thanks for the call.
Okay,
All right,
thank
see ya.
you.
Okay, bye. Yep, real people are suffering because USCIS won't do their job. They think they have the right to stop processing work cards, stop processing green cards just because they don't like you from a certain country. So I'm not sure what this person is saying. Confused. They sound confused. No need to pay thousands of dollars just to fill out forms that only require your personal information. Shows what you don't know. Confused. You're aptly named. Quick question. Hello.
Hi, Jim. So sorry for your loss.
Thanks.
My condolences.
I appreciate that.
I really appreciate the work that you have been doing for all immigrants. I've been watching you for like 1.5 years on YouTube.
Thanks for watching.
On this show.
Thank you.
So I'll get to my question. I'm living in Canada, originally from Pakistan. My wife is a US citizen. We got married in the January of this year. She is doing her PhD in the US. We haven't filed for our I-130 yet. My wife's cousin wedding is in about 10 days, to which me and my wife are invited. I'm planning to go there, and I was trying to understand what to say to the CBP officer. I'm just going there for 2 days. Previously, I have been in the US for 2 to 4 days, couple of times since 2024. Should I say that I'm going to my wife's cousin wedding, or should I say that I'm going to my family friend's wedding or relatives' wedding? If I say I'm going to my family friend's wedding or relatives' wedding, I'm just a bit worried that they would get information about my wife being like US citizen by pressing on me and would deny entry based on hiding information. On the other hand, if I directly tell them that I'm going to my wife's cousin wedding, they could be a bit suspicious about learning that my wife is a US citizen. I have a job, lease, and a bunch of ties here in Canada. I have like a hotel booking and return tickets as well.
So you're flying.
Yes.
Awesome. You should 100% tell them that you're going to your wife's sister's wedding. There's no doubt about it. So I really, really hope you get to go to the wedding. But if you ever want to live in the United States, I think that it's much more important that you tell the truth this one time and every time than whatever value you're going to get getting to come for 2 weeks. I think if you've always followed the rules and always left on time and you're coming through customs in Canada, that's about as good as it gets as far as, if they don't allow you, you at least get to stay and you don't have to, buy a ticket back. So if you don't get to come to the wedding, that would suck, but it's much better than thinking you were committing some kind of fraud to get into the United States.
Yes, I was also like, because of this confused, because I feel like if I had to apply immigration, let's say in the future, it's best to keep my record clean on the CBP line, at least, that if they pull it up, what did I say, or why was I denied entry or something. At least that should be the truth, right?
That's right.
Yeah, thank you. Just one more thing. What documents do you think should I bring? Like, I have employment letter, pay stubs, lease. Do you think anything else other than this? Return tickets?
I-94, all your travel. I think you did a great job laying it out here. I think if you explain it the way that you just did to me, you'll be fine.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I did a transit in January this year. So I think my I-94 is valid till maybe June. Do you recommend like printing it out and taking it there?
I'm sorry, I meant your I-94 history. So
Okay.
to the extent that you can document that you always come and gone on time, they
Yes.
they should have those records too. But if you can get those, that would be helpful. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I'll get that. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
I hear Nurse Laura has laryngitis. Laura, I hope you feel better. Nurse Laura is always very helpful. Huli, you ready? Nurse Laura is always very helpful to everyone in the comments, and we appreciate you. All right, here comes Huli, and then we're going to bring in. Juli's going to do a little translation for us. So it's a three-way call today. Let's do it.
Yes. Awesome. Ok, María, bienvenida al show. ¿Cuál es tu consulta exactamente, tu pregunta para el abogado Jim?
Hola, quiero saber qué es lo más fiable para mi caso si mi esposo es residente en Estados Unidos y yo
Ujú.
estoy en México. ¿Qué podría hacer para que mi residencia sea aprobada?
Perfecto. So she wants to know what it's more reliable to apply for, as her husband is a long permanent resident and she lives in Mexico. So what is the best petition that she can file?
Why hasn't the husband gotten his citizenship?
It only has 3 years and he got it through his mom.
Oh, so I wouldn't say he's a long LPR. I think when I say long LPR, I think 20 years. So he should go ahead and file the I-130 right now, and then that'll be pending. And then once he becomes, she's probably not going to come until he actually becomes a citizen. I'll let you translate. Sorry.
Ok, so lo mejor que indica el abogado es que aplique ahora mismo por el I-130 y después hacer la actualización cuando él sea un ciudadano, ya que es como que más rápido el proceso cuando la persona es un ciudadano.
Ok, ¿al cuánto tiempo mi esposo se puede hacer ciudadano?
How long he can apply for becoming a citizen?
So 5 years. So at 4 years and 9 months from the start date on his green card.
Ok, a partir de los 4 años y 9 meses es cuando él puede hacer la aplicación para la ciudadanía.
As long as he doesn't have any trips outside the United States for more than 6 months, and as long as he's lived half the time in the U.S.
Y mientras que tenga, esto es algo muy importante y tener en cuenta que no haya vivido fuera de los Estados Unidos por más de 6 meses o viajes largos más de ese tiempo y que la mitad del tiempo haya vivido fuera. So, la idea es que tenga todo el tiempo dentro de los Estados Unidos.
Ok, pero ahora mismo él no puede solicitar ya su ciudadanía con ya los 3 años que lleva dentro del país.
Debe de esperar a los 4 años y 9 meses.
Ok, entonces lo que más me recomiendan es la I-130, ¿verdad?
Correcto, indicado por el abogado.
Ok, ¿cuánto tiempo tarda después de iniciar el trámite a que llegue mi cita?
How long does it take since she applies for the I-130 until she gets the interview?
So it's Mexico?
Yes.
Mexico. So the I-130 will be pending at USCIS for around 14 to 18 months.
Ok, cuando hagas la aplicación, el caso, la I-130 va a estar pendiente en la UCIS de 14 a 18 meses. Ok, dame un segundo.
But
¿Puedo?
maybe longer because he's not a citizen, he's only a green card holder.
Posiblemente un poco más de tiempo, ya que es un residente y no un ciudadano.
And then the case will get sent to the National Visa Center, and she'll have to wait for an interview in Juarez, but it'll probably be when her husband becomes a citizen that really makes the case go faster. So probably 2.5, 3 years altogether.
Ok, so él dice que de aquí a cuando te den la entrevista, ¿verdad? Pueda que se agilice más rápido que él sea, que cuando se convierta una vez en ciudadano y tengas la entrevista en la Embajada de Juárez y ahí se agilice todo mucho más rápido.
Esto es, ¿qué porcentaje tengo de que me den mi residencia?
She wants to know what percentage it's positive for her to get her residency.
Oh, I'd say pretty high. I mean, either of them been married before?
Él dice que puede ser muy alto. Ninguno de los dos ha estado casado antes, ¿no?
No, ninguno de los dos.
Has she ever
None
applied
of
for a
them have been
visa?
married.
Has she ever applied for a visa before?
¿Has aplicado alguna vez por alguna visa?
Sí, el año pasado, en enero del 2025, apliqué para una visa de turismo, pero me la negaron.
Last year she applied for a tourist visa and it was denied.
Because?
¿No te dijeron el motivo del cual fue negado?
No, solo me preguntaron mi motivo de viaje y en ese momento yo estaba recién casada y mi respuesta fue que estaba yendo para solicitar mi visa para ir de luna de miel con mi esposo.
Okay. No, it was denied because when they asked her why it was her visit to the US, she was just newlywed and she mentioned that she was going to have her honeymoon with her husband there.
Okay, that's good. And then how long have they known each other?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan conociéndose?
Aproximadamente como 8 años.
approximately 8 years.
Okay. And did her son got his green card through his mom
Yes, through his mom.
when he was a kid or when he was older?
¿A qué edad tu esposo obtuvo la green card? Si
Am,
era menor de edad o mayor de edad cuando obtuvo el beneficio por medio de su mamá.
él era mayor de edad.
He was over 21.
Is there any chance that they might think that they were already married before and that he tricked them into thinking he was unmarried so he could come faster?
Te hago dos preguntas. Primero, ¿hace cuánto él obtuvo? Ya. ¿Hay la posibilidad de que ellos hayan pensado que ustedes estaban casados antes para que él obtuviera el beneficio?
Em, no, porque él obtuvo su residencia hace 3 años y medio aproximadamente y nosotros
Ujú.
nos casamos, digamos así, hace 1 año y 3 meses.
¿En ningún momento notificaron algo al USCIS en el caso de él sobre tu existencia?
No, todavía no, porque en
Okay,
ese momento todavía éramos novios y aún no nos
okay,
casábamos, entonces todavía no.
okay. So, well, he obtained the green card 3 years ago. There were no wedding plans whatsoever. They didn't like mention nothing related to
Okay.
them getting married on
And then
their
I
application.
might have asked, but is there an age gap? I don't know if I asked that.
¿Hay alguna diferencia de edad entre ustedes? María,
She's out
we
of here.
lost her?
Yeah, it's okay. If she calls
Yeah.
back, I think she's got a good case. It sounds fine. It's just going to take a long time. So a high percentage of getting approved is just going to take a long time.
Okay, I'll follow up.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks.
See ya.
Welcome.
Good job translating. Marriage green card applicant. Hello.
Hey, Jim, how are you doing?
I'm well, thanks.
I'm so sorry for your loss, by the way.
Thanks. Thank you.
So, a quick question. Marriage-based green card interview soon. My original birth certificate is back home, and I only have a printed copy and certified translation. Is that enough, or will they require the actual original one?
They might. I would have. I mean, you're going to need that for the rest of your life, so I would have it sent as soon as I can.
Oh, like,
This isn't the only time you're going to need it, so they might ask you for it. I'd say there's a 10 or 20% chance, so you might as well have someone send it to you now.
oh, from back home? Okay.
Yep. Remember,
Okay.
we don't want to just do the bare minimum. We always want to go above and beyond and do whatever we can. So why give them something to delay your case another 6 months?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
That was easy. Thanks. Mo Abib, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
First, please accept my condolences and
Thank
thanks
you.
for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
My question is regarding I-130 application for my brother-in-law. My sister is a U.S. citizen and she's requesting her husband to bring in the United States. So now his case is in the interview step in Tajikistan, Dushanbe. So my question is he good to go for interview? Because now I can hear the discussion. If anybody go to the interview, which is citizen of Afghanistan, the case will be denied and he or she cannot go to the interview and should postpone the interview. What do you think about this discussion? I don't know if you heard about it or not.
Sure. So his passport is Afghanistan.
Yes.
And has his case actually been scheduled for an interview date?
Yes, it's June 3rd.
June 3rd. Yeah, so he should go do the medical, plan on attending, and go to the interview and then see what happens. He won't get the visa, but his job is just to keep doing what they tell him to do. So he should not skip the interview.
Okay, and what do you recommend? What he should be preparing for the interview?
He just needs to be able to talk about the marriage and the relationship and how they met and how he's a good person and how he should get to come to the United States. But like I said, they're not going to be able to give him the visa, but he should still keep proceeding with everything.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mo. See you, bud.
See you.
All right, let's go to Lily. Hello, Lily.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Well,
Thank you so much for having me.
sure.
So I want to ask about for my mom's green card application. So she came to the United States on July the 3rd, and then we're like debating back and forth. So eventually we decided to adjustment status. So we submit the application on December the 5th. And so my question, my concern is that like recently I saw that in a lot of like some forum, and there are three cases. So like two of them came in with a K1 visa, and then I think the other one came in with a B2 visa. So they got denied because in their previous like visa application they put down Mary. They put down Mary in the fact that they're single. So now it becomes alarm to me because my mom had multiple tourist visa before. She had a tourist visa in 2010, 2011, 2014, 2015, and her most recent one is like 2025. So on the 2025 visa application, I review it, everything's fine. So her status widow, but I don't know about those 2015, 2014, 2011, 2010. She applied those like visa with a tour agent. So in fact, in the 2025 visa application, the tour agent accidentally put her status as married, but I correct as widow. So now, like seeing those cases, I'm like very concerned. If what if they make any mistakes on those like old visas? So I request like for FOIA, but it seems that they're very backlogged. So I don't know when they will be able to get back to me. So now my question is, in this case, because what's a possibility that if they accidentally put her status married or something else, and then they would they like accuse her of a misrepresentation, or should I have her to abandon her I like 485 here and then go back to do consular process? Because we filed 485 before the expiration of I-94. So I assuming that she doesn't accrue any unlawful presence here.
So if the company marked down when did her husband pass away?
1993.
So in other words, every time she's applied for a visit visa to the United States, she's been a widow.
Yes, for sure.
Have you gone back to the tourist agency and asked them if they marked down if they have any records of any of her DS 160s?
I'm going to do it, but I doubt it because that's like many years ago, more than 10 years ago. And she always, for those visas, she always complied with her terms. She came to the United States numerous times.
Yeah, but if she lied on it, I mean, if they're not going to view it as a mistake, they're going to view it as misrepresentation. So I do think this is a big problem. And I didn't hear. I know that you said you FOIA'd the State Department, but you're saying it didn't tell you one way or the other what they said.
No, I think they said there's a backlog, so they don't know when it's going to they don't know when it's going to get it back to me.
So the reason you're considering have mom abandon the 45 and consular process is walk me through your mindset.
Because I'm afraid that because she had four tourist visa before, I'm just concerned if the tour agent might make any mistake. For example, like put her like status as married or single, whatever, instead of widow. Because now I won't be able to tell. I don't know.
I think they probably did, don't you?
I don't know.
So I mean, that's what these guys do. They're fake lawyers. They act like they're helping you. And the question is, do we think they would have given your mom a visa if they knew she was a widow? I don't know, right? So I think it'd be pretty drastic to abandon it. But let me ask you this question, because you said at the top of the call, that you and mom were sort of going back and forth about whether or not to apply for her, and you applied
Yes.
in December. So is this one of those situations where daughter, i.e. you, sort of wants mom to have a green card more than mom does? Mom would rather be home. She's sick of being here.
No, my mom does want to be here. The reason initially, so and this is a story. So the situation. So initially, when she come through the CBP, and then she told them she just want to be here for about 2 months. So we told them I want to go to what's that like Los Angeles, Toronto, and Toronto and Miami. But after she came, we feel like the going to Toronto and and what's that and LA were too far for us. So instead, like my mom went to Miami, keep the original destination, and then she went to DC and also Boston by herself. And so we're back and forth. So I got naturalized on November the 7th. And initially, we're thinking about consular process. I even paid a lawyer to do consular process in the middle of October. We even bought another ticket to go home in December. But like, on November the 7th, very funnily, like the day after I got naturalized, I saw a news from Fox News and saying that there's going to be public charge rule for the for older applicant because my mom doesn't speak English, doesn't have tons of resource, doesn't have high education. So that's why we think adjustment of status may be safer for her. That's why we decided to do adjustment of status.
What country is mom from?
China.
China. Okay. So, I mean, I think it'd be sort of drastic to withdraw the 485. At the worst case scenario is, let's say that the State Department was told that mom was married and not widowed. Let's say that's true. Then mom would have time to decide later to leave in consular process or to apply for a waiver and go overseas. So,
but she won't be qualified for any waiver though, because she's a widow and I'm her daughter.
Right. But that's going to be true no matter whether she's here or there.
But like, no, the reason I bring it up to think about going back to consular process, it seems that like based on the cases that I read from online, it seems that the consular process they don't really care about your marital status. They, for those people, they said they're married, but when they apply for K1 visa, another tour visa, they said they're single. So they still grant it. So it seems like it may be like they don't care that much.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Because think about it. That you're talking about giving somebody actual immigrant visa to the United States. They're going to hold that person to a higher standard than they would for the next another non-immigrant visa.
Okay, I see. And another concern is that if I abandon it, then when I go back, will they charge it for misrepresentation from the most recent visa?
They might. Yeah, sure.
So in this situation, so what do you think I should do? Just wait for the FOIA and depends on what USCIS shows. Like go to the interview if I don't have the FOIA back by then.
That's for you to decide. Again, I think dismissing it and leaving would be pretty drastic. I would take my chance and see what happens. I mean,
Okay.
you can always withdraw it on the day of if you want. If they tell you, look, looks like mom made misrepresentations on her prior DS-160s, then you could say, okay, well, maybe we'll withdraw it and go back overseas. So I think it'd be too drastic and you're too far down the line. And I think that at worst case scenario, they just tell her she needs to get a waiver. And then you're going to say, well, we don't have a qualifying relative for a waiver. And then she's not getting a green card. She just goes home.
I see. So in this case, let's say on the day of the interview, they said maybe misrepresentation. We want waiver, whatever. So if I abandon, let's say, then I withdraw it, then would that misrepresentation on the file forever? Because that's a permanent ban. Would she still be able to go back to consular to do it one more time?
Well, that raises an interesting question because now she's mentioned on the 40. I assume on the 45, you marked that she's never made a misrepresentation to get an immigration benefit, right?
Right. Yes.
But you don't know if that's true or not. So yeah, maybe you should withdraw it. Yep. That's a tough call. I'm not going to make the decision for you. You're very aware of all the things. This is something for you to decide.
So, Jim, let me ask you this: which way she has a better chance to get the green card?
Well, here's the thing. If if she has submitted documents to the State Department that said she was married when she was a widower,
But we don't know. I don't know.
but we're just saying, I'm saying
Uh-huh.
if that happened, well, first of all, if it didn't happen, she gets her green card, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why she wouldn't get her green card. If every single time the fact that you had to correct it this time and change it from married to widow suggests to me that they probably just looked at the same file and have been saying married for 10 years or 14 years, don't you think?
No, it's different. It's different companies.
Okay.
Different companies.
Okay. Well, in any event, we can agree that if mom has never submitted a DS-160 that said that she was married when she was really a widow, then if that's true, if she never misrepresented and the notarios filling out her paperwork never misrepresented, then she has no problems, right?
Right.
If she has a DS-160 from 2011 or 13 or 14 or 17 or 20 or 24, if she has any of those, then she's made that misrepresentation, and that's going to follow her no matter what.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know that withdrawing it now gets you that much more, but I think it might get you a little bit more in that the answers on the 45 might be wrong. Your problem is you're just shooting in the dark. So then we say, okay, the safest thing might be to withdraw it. But then if you withdraw it, then she's going to leave. And if she leaves and you do the FOIA and it shows that she misrepresented her marital status, then she's probably not ever coming back on a visit or on a green card.
Right. So it's better that she stay here and take the chance.
I'm not telling you that. I'm letting you decide that. We've laid it all out. We've talked it all through. Now you and she have to decide.
Well, because if there's any misrepresentation, then she goes back, then they check it, they can charge her for misrepresentation, the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the case, right?
The only other thing that you might have, here's the question. Do we think that the result of mom's visit, assuming that on one or more of the DS-160s, she said she was married when she was a widow, do we think that would have changed the outcome of whether she got the visit visa or not? Because it has to be a material misrepresentation. And the question is, by mom marking married when she was really a widow, did that cut off a legitimate line of inquiry by the State Department officer? What do you think?
So this is a point I was thinking about. So can we argue that, so by the fact that the State Department, like consular office, they are supposed to check, so they must have checked, they must have done it. So
Nope. That's not the argument. You can't make that argument. You can't argue, oh, mom tricked you and said she was married and you guys are too dumb to check. That's not the right argument. The right argument is, would the outcome have been different? If they had known that she was a widow and not married, would they have let her get a visit visa to come visit her daughter? It's not a marriage case. It's a mother-daughter case. So I think it's different. I think they would hold her to a lower standard. I think you might be in a better position because she's your mom and not your spouse. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because in the 2025, it's correctly marked as widow, and then all those like the visa decades ago, she only came here for travel and left on time.
Yeah, I think you have arguments. I think you definitely have arguments.
Okay, I see. Cool. So, do you guys let's say if you run into this problem, will you guys be able to respond will you be able to help me with RFE?
Yeah, but if it's a waiver, you're screwed, as you pointed out.
Then I have another question. Yeah, never mind then.
Thanks, Lily.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. Another question, Jim. So let's say if it's a waiver, then it goes to the immigration court. So do you think we can argue, we can file with this misrepresentation in front of the judge and said it's not a misrepresentation?
I think you have to win at at USCIS or it's over. You're not going to win at immigration court. These judges are supposed to deport people.
Okay, I see. Got it.
Thanks for the call.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep. Nurse Laura's having an interesting discussion about Fox News. I was watching that shithead Trump was on with, I hate that Maria, what's her name? Bartiromo or whatever. Those guys paid out hundreds of millions. Fox News paid out hundreds of millions of dollars because they were lying about these voting machines. They should have fired Sean Hannity. They should have fired Jesse Waters. They should have filed that Maria Bartiromo person because they were actively lying about these machines that were used in the 2020 election. And Trump threw it out again on Sunday, and she just said, yep, yeah, we know that there was fraud all over the place. 787 million. Thank you, AJ. Fox, it's so funny because we have the what is that called? What's the agency that watches over FCC? The FCC bitching about Jimmy Kimmel telling jokes about poor little Donald Trump, the so-called He-Man, and the tough guy. Donald Trump can't take criticism from late night talk show hosts. We have that head of the FCC threatening ABC and CBS because Donald Trump's feelings were hurt. The little bitch, the little baby, Donald Trump. I need regulation. I'm against government interference, but I don't think people should be able to say what they want to say. Because I'm a little baby. I need other men to fight my fights for me, but I'm a big birdie man. Anyway, instead of cracking down on Fox News, which, as Laura points out, is a cesspool of false information, lies. Speaking of, did you guys see how Donald Trump tweeted out a picture of himself as Jesus? As Jesus. Donald Trump, the Antichrist himself. And when called to the carpet by evangelicals, Trump says, "Oh, I was a doctor. I thought that was a doctor costume. I like to play doctor." Fucking pedophile. The only person you ever played doctors with are 12-year-old girls. And of course, I don't think anyone's even buying this one. Not even the people on Fox News are buying this. Bizarro world. We live in bizarro world. He's not a serious person. Sonny is here. Hello.
Hey Jim, sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that, dear Sonny. Thank you.
I'm back today with completed my interview.
What kind of interview?
For Merit-based green card. I connected with you like 2 or 3 days ago, I believe.
Awesome. How did it go?
So basically, morning 7:30 was the appointment. We went there. Our lawyer was not there. He sent another lawyer. We signed G28 and it's a stock interview.
Right out of the box? Right out of the box?
Yeah, officer came out. She take my wife inside, asked some question about like my degree and how we met and other stuff. Then next, she called me inside. She started saying like a different question. She didn't ask me the same question. Only the similar question we had about like, well, what's the color of comforter in our house? And we have 2 comforters. So whatever she use, usually she give that color and I give the color I use. And what is called? Then she was like, I need to see some joint stuff. Like in the system, I can only see you have 3 transactions on the statement. And then I was like, okay. So I give her like document, like joint bank account, joint credit card, like 1 year old, 6 month old, and the recent one.
And did those show much more transactions?
Yeah, it's like we have transaction we daily use every day. Like so, this is like, but she didn't have it in her system, so she was thinking we didn't send it, but our lawyers sent it to them. So I give it like a credit card, like 3 statement, then joint bank account 3 statement, like year old, 6 month, and recent. in the same manner. Then I give her like a auto insurance policy, my employer benefit policy from last year, this year. Then she was happy. She started to a little bit normal and everything. At the end, she say like, I'm gonna review your case. If I need more evidence, we will send you a mail for more evidence, or we might directly approve your case.
And so
That's
right
what
now,
she's.
the I-130 wasn't even approved. Just neither were approved.
She gave me for I-485 that one, the paper.
Yeah, but you had an I-130 and a 45 pending, right?
Yes.
And as of right now, the online portal doesn't say the I-130 was approved.
No, the interview was today morning, so as of now, it's just an interview schedule.
What did the attorney say?
Attorney said there was nothing. It's just a minor inconsistency about like details, but it was the same details. It's like we explained in a different way, but the answer was the same.
Awesome. Well, thanks for letting me know, Sonny. Keep us posted, okay?
So, is there anything you think is a red flag, or only the comforter color we messed up? I would say.
I'm not worried about that. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jim. That's all I want to know. Like, if is there anything? Yeah.
Bye, Sonny. See you, bud. All right. Let's go to Lorena. Hello, Lorena.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing? You sound sad.
No, I just wanted to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
Sorry for your loss, by the way.
Thank you.
So like Sunny, I also completed my interview yesterday, marriage-based.
Yes.
And I am a U.S. citizen. He's a DACA recipient. Now, when we initially filed, I didn't make enough money to sponsor him. So our attorney told us that his income can qualify for a household income because it was authorized work. So when we were at the interview yesterday and the officer was covering the I-864, she did mention that his income couldn't be considered and I didn't qualify. And at the end of the interview, I did ask if I should be looking for a co-sponsor, and she said she'll let me know. So my lawyer told me that technically it can be considered, and now I'm wondering if I'll get an RFE. I was wondering what you think about that.
Well, how'd the rest of the interview go?
Good. I think it went pretty good. The other thing, and I also wanted to ask you, my husband's DACA expired in September. He didn't receive the renewal until December. He was out of work for that time, but the officer did made a statement that it was unlawful presence. So that kind of, I don't know if I should be concerned about that. My lawyer said not to, but she did pointed that out. Those were the only two things that I think are off. I think the rest of the interview went pretty well. My I-130 got approved this morning.
That's good. And have we talked before?
No, I don't think so. This is my first time.
Did your spouse come on a visa, or did they enter without inspection?
It was in a visa.
Perfect. Okay, good. So your spouse has a valid entry.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, I mean, your case fits a pattern that we're seeing, and this is why I asked Sonny if the I-130 was approved. This is their new MO. How long ago did you file?
We filed in October, and our interview was yesterday.
This is the new MO. Schedule them relatively quickly for an interview, approve the I-130, and sit on the 485. That's what just about everybody's seeing. Very few people are getting 485s approved on the spot. I would say 10% or less. So I think your case is like a lot of what they're doing, and they're just going to do a bunch of background check BS.
Okay. Do you think I should be concerned about the unlawful presence he accumulated while his DACA was pending?
Nope. No, because he'd be able to adjust even without ever having had DACA because he had a valid inspection. So that part, that brings up something that I need to talk about. I probably need to make a separate video on this, but we're really starting to see a trend of officers trying to convince applicants to admit that they had unlawful presence. And I mean, obviously this is very hard for an immigrant to stand up and say, no, you're an idiot, or no, you're wrong. Or in this case, look, dude, I applied for DACA in 2000. What? When did your husband get DACA?
2012.
So listen, motherfucker, I've had DACA for 14 years and I've gotten it renewed every single year until your dumbass agency didn't renew it on time and just dragged it out last year. So I'm not going to admit that I had unlawful presence. You do whatever you want in your file, but I've done everything I'm supposed to do since 2012. So, and moreover, it doesn't matter if I have unlawful presence because I'm married to a U.S. citizen, and you should know that. If you knew anything about the Immigration Nationality Act, then you wouldn't be wasting our time trying to get me to admit something that is irrelevant.
Okay.
Not that anybody would ever do that, but that's what should happen.
All right. And in terms of the sponsor, should
I'm
I
more
be
worried about that. I'm more worried about that than the other thing. Why was there a reason why you didn't just get a co-sponsor?
Well, at the beginning, our attorney told us that because it was authorized work, it could be considered household income. So we can rely on that. So we didn't file with a co-sponsor. So now I'm wondering about getting our fee or.
Yeah, I would start trying to find a co-sponsor.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was it, Jim.
Good luck. I hope it all goes through. Let us know, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Lorena. All right. Yeah, Joey, I think Joey's right. I think they're trying to get people to admit it because they're cooking something for later. Stephen Miller runs the country. All true. FTA, hello. FTA, are you there? This is about the time where people can't hear me. All right. Let's go to Amelia. Hi, Amelia.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
I'm okay. So Jim, we talked about a week ago. I am on F1 status, and my husband's the U.S. citizen who sponsored me. My interview is in a couple days, and at the time I mentioned that about 10 years ago I was an exchange student on a J1 visa, and I was subject to the 2-year residency requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me to compile as much evidence as possible to verify that I was in Bangladesh for 2 years. So I wanted to mention to you what I compiled and like what you think about it. Is that okay?
It sounds great.
Yeah. So these are what I got. So I was enrolled. I have my official transcript from the university, which mentions which semester and year I was enrolled with the grades and everything. And of course, a degree from the university as well. I have like 4 to 5 domestic flight tickets inside the country. I have doctor's appointments and hospitalizations, about 4 of them. I have, for a period there, I was preparing to come to grad school. So I have taken, like, I don't know if you know what these tests are, IELTS, GRE, these test appointments within the country. I had 2 official jobs. So I have the offer letter and the separation letter for those jobs. Then I have I was also interviewing for other jobs, so I have those emails. I don't know if I didn't add them to my list though. I had one of because I had to get it as soon as possible. I had one of my classmates from college send like a notarized affidavit verifying like she has knowledge that I was in Bangladesh for the whole 2 years, and this is on top of. I also compiled all the pages of my passport indicating the arrival and departure stamps from Bangladesh, if that makes sense. So, yeah, do you think that's enough? Because the only other thing that I have, I don't know if I should include that. I don't intend to at the moment, is food like Uber Eats orders in my name and my account. For a lot of days because that's normal. So yeah, do you think that's still lacking, or do you think yeah, what do you think?
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When are you going to law school?
I'm not going to. No, I study.
You did a great job. Great
Okay,
job. You did exactly what I wanted, and I 100%. I would 100% include the Uber Eats proof.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Your best proof of all.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much. I was like curious.
I wanted to say one other thing. of course, this is something you're going to bring to the interview. You're not going to bring it up unless they bring it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm
I just
aware.
want to-
Because the thing is, when I was appearing for my F1 interview, they did ask me at the embassy, oh, you are subject to 2 years residency. Did you do that? I'm like, yes. They were like, okay, go. Like so
that might be it. That might be it. Yep.
Yes. So that's one thing. Another question I have is about 4.5 years ago, I had an issue with an ex partner that can be deemed as, well, that was stalking, for which the police got involved. Well, I contacted the police multiple times in relation to that incident, and eventually the police did give me a voucher to stay at a hotel for a week because we were worried that the person would or act erratically because they were communicating from different sources. Like I was blocking them on the phone. They were communicating from different phone numbers. Like, so it seemed like they were having a mental episode. So I was wondering, is there any chance of that being brought up into the interview?
The only way it would be is if that your name hid in some kind of police report or something. That could come up. Yep.
Oh, yeah, no, I was the one who called the police multiple times, but I
Sure.
also had them go over to that person's place to tell them to stop, because the police said they initially didn't want to do anything until it escalated. They were like, you can either report for harassment or not, there's nothing we can do, which I didn't want to escalate it. Then when it went bad, then they were like, okay. But anyway, so do you think I should take that documentation, the email correspondence with the police, to the interview, or you think that's not really necessary?
I would say yes.
Yes. Okay. It's better for peace of mind as well. Okay, great. So another question I have is, do you think in the interview they ever ask political questions?
I haven't had that happen.
Okay, that's great. All right. That would be, sounds like I've covered everything. But yeah, I wanted to go over one more thing, but if that's too much, let me know. So I want to tell you what documents I've compiled for the interview and uploaded, and perhaps you can tell me how you like whether this is good or if this was.
That's too boring. But do you have our marriage evidence list? You can have that if you want.
Marriage evidence list. That's what I was talking about.
Do you have ours?
Oh, yes. So
Yeah.
I don't have everything within that list, but I would say like 50%.
I would say that by talking to you now these 2 times, I'm confident that you have plenty of good evidence. I'm not worried about that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So I don't want to take any more time. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye, Amelia. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Nurse Lara, I meant to tell you. So check this out. So my aunt lived across the street in Geezer Central. So Geezer Central is across the street from the hospital where she ended up. In other words, when she started, so what happened was she wasn't swallowing on Friday. And so I think they didn't give her medicine at the old folks home for her seizures. So then on Saturday, she started having seizures. They brought her over in the ambulance. They stuck her in the arm with Keppra, and that brought down the seizures. And then she was sort of in a coma, a sort of medical and not. Anyway, they were supposed, wait till you guys hear this. So they were supposed to give her the medicine, the morphine, every 4 hours. My sister left at 10:30 on Sunday night. And like I said, I got there at 4. Well, they didn't give her any morphine between 10:30 and 4. And when I get there, of course, they hop to it. They give her morphine at 4:30, 6:30, 8:30, 10:30. So the nurse from the hospice, who was terrific, who I loved, she was great. She came over and raised holy hell because they weren't giving her the medicine overnight, and they mixed up, so Lauren and the doctor changed up the order so that they had to do morphine every 2 hours. Yeah. And then here's the kicker. My sister So there was a time before my aunt died where they thought she had sort of stopped breathing, and everyone sort of thought that was it. And then they went out to tell someone, hey, we think, because I guess when you're in hospice and you're not really being monitored for like your heart rate and all that stuff every like full time, then the nurses, like when Amani's mom died and when my dad died, like the nursing station knew that they had died, if that makes sense. But when they know you're actively dying, which is a new phrase. So when Amani's mom died, I learned a new phrase, which was chemical life support, which I never heard before. And then this one, the hospice nurse told us yesterday that my aunt was actively dying, which I'd never heard that phrase before. She said, yeah, probably 72 hours that she's in this phase of actively dying, like dying the verb, dying as a verb, not as a noun, like dying, like, anyway, so she stopped, and my uncle and my mom and my sister, who's a nurse, thought that she died, and they went out and told the lady, and the lady harumphed and was all mad that she had to come in and do some work. She comes in and she goes, she ain't dead yet. She ain't dead yet. She ain't dead yet. So my sister's going to write a little letter to the hospital. Not in a mean way, because some of the nurses were great. Some of the nurses didn't do shit. So I just thought Laura would find that interesting. She ain't dead yet. Also interesting thing that happened at the hospital. So this is a Catholic hospital. And, you know, so at the parish where I grew up, there was the priest who molested me. There was another priest who went to prison for child pornography after we were gone, but it was for stuff that happened while we were there. And then there was a priest who was a really good guy, and that priest who's a really good guy, he's still around and he's old. So when they were looking for someone to do last rites for my aunt, he actually ended up coming on Sunday, and I missed him. I wasn't there, so I got to see him yesterday. So that was really nice to see him. Always very fond of that particular priest, but he was there sort of between these pervs, the one that went to prison and the one that molested me. So whenever I get reconnected to my parish or my archdiocese stuff, it's always weird, right? It's always weird. And my mom said that she thinks everybody in our old neighborhood knows what happened to me. I don't know if that's true or not. I have to ask my old babysitter. She knows everything about the neighborhood. So I have to check with her to see if everybody knows what happened to me. Mom said, oh yes, they know, because they look at you differently, look at her differently. Like, oh, there's poor sissy. Her son got molested by a priest. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this stuff. I'm just a little bit raw right now. You know how it is. My good Aunt Alice, she used to take me to the zoo. She lived with us. When I was a kid, she wore so much perfume that if she came, I'd go running away screaming because she had so much damn perfume on. But Aunt Alice was a great one. I'll put up some pictures tomorrow about old Aunt Alice. We found some funny ones and some good ones. But my mom, when Aunt Alice died, my mom said, she said, my oldest friend. That's a pretty good way to describe your sister, don't you think? And I told my kids today, and they're like, oh, that's like us with our brother. So makes you appreciate everything. Also makes you want to be healthy and not smoke. And I'll smoke for a long time. Don't want to smoke, don't want to be unhealthy, don't want to be overweight. I know we're all going to end up in that bed, hopefully, and hopefully we'll get to be surrounded by our loved ones. Because win, lose, or draw, we're all going in that grave. Not to be all morbid and shit, but my mom's the best. She's an OG, as Nora would say. She's a good sister. All right. AOS parent, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Call.
Yeah.
So, I'm a U.S. citizen. My parents were here in States on a B2 visa. They are from a 75 plus country. We applied for their 485 form, and we received a rejection notice due to the missing few items on their form. So my parents' I-94 is going to expire in next 3 days. I guess we are in confusion at this time if they can file it or they need to travel back to the home country before their B2 visa expire, or I-94 expire basically. I guess we're just confused what would be the best course of action to do on this time.
Right. So the first question is, why did they get rejected?
No, it was only a rejected form because there were few questions that we missed on the application.
But why? How did that happen? Why did that happen? That isn't something that should happen.
Yeah, it's just something. There was one question on the public charge, which had a checkbox we forgot to check in. It
Okay.
was for their education. We fill in the field, but I guess we just forgot to cross the checkbox in one of this question, and that's what it got rejected.
That's BS that they did that, but okay. And then here's my next question: how long ago did they reject it?
We got a mail, we got a mail only like 2 days ago, but I think they rejected on the receipt date of the rejection. It was rejected a week ago.
Okay, and so, why haven't you fixed it and send it right back to them?
So I was looking at some of the forms, and my form is all ready as of now, but I know it's gonna take some time for them to receive and process.
Well, if you FedEx today, they'll get it tomorrow.
Yes, but I am concerned if anything falls out. Let's say a payment, or I have seen that a lot for a lot of people. Sometimes there is a bank issue, they are not able to withdraw the fund, or any other related something we might not be aware on this scenario, right?
Sure.
So I'm
what do mom and dad want to do?
Concerned with this minimal time frame. What would be the best course of action?
What do mom and dad want to do? Sorry.
What they want to do, you said?
Yeah, what do they want to do?
They are also in the loss. Like at this situation, we just don't know what's the best course to do. They want to stay.
Yeah.
But with all these new rules going around, we just don't want to overstay, for sure, right? After I-94 expiry date.
Well, but you know that if you get it on file before the I-94, then they don't accrue any unlawful presence while it's pending, right?
So that is also something that I'm so is that date the day they received the file, or it actually had a pending case of approval? That's what I'm concerned about.
You mean if you FedEx it today, the 14th, it gets there on the 15th, and they receipt it on the 22nd, and the 6 months are up, does that count of keeping? Yeah.
Right.
The only lawful presence they would have would be those 2 or 3 days or 4 days from the end of the I-94 until the case got receipted.
Right. So there will be like a few days they might miss.
Of course, that's all forgiven because you're a U.S. citizen, right?
Yes, I am.
Why did you cut it so close?
That is just something they changed their mind. They just want to stay after spending some time with me.
Yeah.
So it's just something that came up a little bit late, and I wasn't aware that we need to do all the medical forms. Those are now required. So I guess we spent some more time doing the medical stuff.
But they're all done, right?
They are all done. All those documents were sent back to me. They already scanned it. There was just that checkbox which got missed, and they rejected the application.
Yeah, I've never had to argue. I don't think, maybe we have, but it's very rare that you have to argue that there's a substantive difference between if you can prove that it received by USCIS tomorrow by FedEx and they received it a week later, I think that in a legal action, you would have the stronger argument that you filed with them in status. Of course, they're also the ones that decide whether you filed while they were within status. So, but I think at the end of the day, you have the better argument. I would turn around and reapply and send it by Federal Express, not the post office, FedEx or UPS today. Make sure they get it tomorrow, and then I would just plan on adjusting them here.
Okay, so that's one thing. So if I go route to send back to the home country before I-95 expired, okay, is there any chance, or how does the CBP officer could take on those scenario when they try to come back again in B2 at maybe after 6 months, a year or so?
That's the other thing. So here's an interesting thing. So do they have a multiple entry visa?
They do, yes. They had a 5 years visa, and yes, they were in the state for the first time.
I guess the question is, okay, so it's a relatively new visa.
Their visa was issued like 2 years back, but they only traveled here first time. So their visa issuance was back in 2 years. It was since a multiple visa, they just traveled first time in state. So they still have a 3 years remaining on the visa.
Yeah. So here's what I was saying is interesting. You tell me what you think, but let's say we go with the other plan with them going back to, what country is it?
Is it from Nepal?
Nepal. So let's say mom and dad go back to Nepal. I believe that even though the I-130 and 45 did not get reseated, I believe that they have demonstrated immigrant intent, even though it got rejected. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they've raised their hand and said, hey, we want to be lawful permanent residents. I could see CBP not letting them in the next time they try to visit, and or I could see USCIS or the State Department not giving them another visit visa if they try to renew that in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was something that we were also thinking in back of our head. Like, if I put a decent time frame for the next visit, do you think will that be a good reason for the officer to, make any changes? Because let's say if they want to travel like after a year or so, things changes after a year or so, right? So
if they go back to Nepal and then they try to come back a year from now, do I think that the fact that they rang the bell and applied for a green card changes things? No, I don't.
Okay, cool. So if they take that route, then probably a consular processing will be the only one option.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, it's the safer option. Okay, awesome. All right, I think we have. I think that pretty much gives us more room to think about. But I appreciate your time, Jim. So thank you. And
you're welcome. Good luck to you and your parents.
Thank you.
If I paid all that money for all that medical and everything else, I'd get that shit on file. I'd do it all here. Nurse Laura says, by the way, you might have already thought about this, but sending a card or email note to the nurse who treated your family well always makes us feel great. Oh, listen, Laura, my sister's like my dad. My dad became friends with all of his doctors and nurses. So we'll do lots of nice stuff for the people that took care of Alice at Geezer Central, which I should call it by its real name, which was somebody's house, Rachel's house, somebody's house, Clara's house. Yeah. Anyway, it was a nice place and they did a nice job. All right. Let's say hi to Franklin. Hello, Franklin.
Hello, sir. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Me?
Yes.
Pretty good. First of all, this is my first day finding your program, and I'm very excited. And I want to thank you so much for holding such a gathering. I really appreciate.
Thank you, Franklin.
And I'm so sorry for your loss. Accept my condolences.
I appreciate that. What can I help you with?
So, sir, I got married. Me and my wife have known each other for like 6 years, about 5 years. So we recently got married this January. I did the religious wedding and also did the court marriage in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So now, at first, when I came back around February, I wanted to start filing for I-130, but then they said that they hit with the thing with the ban. So some people were saying file the I-130. Well, by the time it gets to that stage, the ban would have been lifted. So anyways, I started the I-130, and I came to the places where they wanted the evidence of marriage, the proof of marriage.
Yeah.
And on my belt, what I have is I have of course, the marriage certificate from the Federal High Court in Nigeria, and I also have the one from the church. I'm a Catholic, and she's also a Catholic. So I have also that one, and I have a charts like text message that we have been texting throughout the 5 years that we have known each other. I also have pictures, wedding pictures with family and stuff. So I was wondering, is these things enough in the proof of marriage? Because I'm 28, my wife is 26. So we're pretty much young. I don't know if there's anything, and she's in Nigeria. I'm here. I'm a US citizen and I naturalized here. I don't know any other evidence I need to put. So I'm just asking if this is enough.
So I have lots of questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Have either of you been married before?
No.
Has she ever applied for a visa to come to the United States before?
No.
How did you get a green card?
So my grandmother filed for my mom.
Perfect.
And my mom, my mom and my dad plus me was eligible. So I came with my mom. So my mom was the petitioner.
How
So
did
I
you
came
guys-
and I naturalized.
How did you guys meet?
Me and my wife, my classmate that I went to primary school with, she happened to go out with her, and she posted her on the status, and I saw her, and then from there I asked for a contact, and then we started talking, and from there we started dating, and we dated for like 5 years.
Perfect.
And yeah.
I'm not worried about that. This sounds like a good case to me. Now, I mean, Nigerian cases have two pauses. They have the 75 country pause and the travel ban pause. But I agree with your philosophy. Just keep going. It sounds like you have good marriage evidence. They understand when the spouse lives overseas that you're not going to have as much as if the spouse was like an international student studying here. So I think you're doing a fine job. Just keep going to visit and keep documenting that and keep, texting each other and keeping proof of all that. But I think you'll be fine.
So just submit those things and
Yep.
the evidence of proof.
Yep.
Okay. One more thing. So I heard that when you do the I-130 and I think the I-45 or something, and you did both of them, how long does it take before I can get a response? Just curious.
So an I-130 for an overseas spouse of a citizen usually takes about 14 to 16 months at USCIS. And then you go to the National Visa Center, and then you go to the embassy. So assuming the pauses get lifted, you're talking 2.5 years.
Okay. For the whole thing?
For the whole thing. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much. That's really what I wanted to know, because I got there and I was stuck and I was watching all this video and they're saying join to this, join that. And I'm not really in that case because we didn't have all that.
That would be another good video for me to do. Thanks for the call, Franklin. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That was our friend Franklin, our new friend Franklin. Welcome to him and everyone else on the show. I'm going to roll because I have some clients here that I need to prep for their I-751 interview that I'm going to on Thursday. So thank you, Huli, for your help. Thanks, everybody else. We'll be back tomorrow. What time, Huli? 11 a.m. Not Friday. Is tomorrow at 11 a.m.? Yeah, tomorrow's at 11 a.m. That would be Wednesday at 11 a.m., April 15th. Taxes, make sure you pay your taxes or get your extension. And if you're married, file as married, not file separately, unless you have a really, really, really good reason to do it. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Huli, thank you for your help. I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see whoever's here to help me, and I appreciate all of your help and support. Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are